Hello dear users of PHOTOMOD. We are going on series of video tutorials about working with PHOTOMOD 6. Today's video tutorial will be devoted to 3D feature extraction in a stereo mode. Let's start PHOTOMOD and open Project Island. First of all, it should be noted that PHOTOMOD enables to work in anaglyph and page flipping stereo modes. In case of the former, no extra equipment apart from anaglyph glasses is needed. For working in page flipping stereo mode, it's necessary to have a special monitor, reflex or 3D vision ready, compatible glasses, polarized or NVIDIA 3D vision ready, as well as workstation with NVIDIA Quadro graphic card installed. Read in detail about hardware requirements and graphic card driver settings in the official website of Raccource Company. Bookmark Software, Hardware Requirements. Anaglyph stereo mode is most suitable for stereo perception when we talk about a format of video tutorial. Let's be sure that anaglyph stereo mode is activated in system settings of PHOTOMOD. Service, Settings, Stereo, anaglyph stereo mode is activated. Then we should open a working stereo pair. Please put marker into overlap of two images and press button. Open new 2D window for the selected stereo pair. Turn on stereo mode. If convex objects seem to be concave and vice versa, it's necessary to change phase of stereo. That movement of marker is managed by a mouse wheel. While stereo digitizing, you must provide marker to be above ground. There are some modes of marker management. Marker mouse mode, center on marker mode, and fixed marker mode. In case of large relief range in the project, it would be useful to adjust the depths in order to provide a better perception of stereo picture. After clarifying how marker acts in a stereo mode, we may step to 3D feature extraction. PHOTOMOD provides creating of two kinds of vector layers: standard vector layers and vector layers with a classifier. Initially, let's consider how to create standard vector objects. Vector, create layer. After it in Layer Manager, new vector layer is appearing. To provide comfortable manipulations with vector objects in the stereo window, it's necessary to open several toolbars. Vectors, change stereo pair, and maybe tools vectors. All of them can be opened from toolbars menu of window bookmark. Standard vector layer constitutes a combination of general unsystematized points, lines and polygons. To draw point objects, you should activate Point Objects Creation mode from Vector toolbar. Pay attention that in tooltip of every button a corresponding hotkey contains. Make sure that vector layer is editable. Pencil symbol is alone of it. And select in stereo a top of tree. For example, this one. Move mouse wheel until marker lies directly on the tree top. And after this, press Insert key of the keyboard. Now, if to select the point draw, all information about its XY plane coordinates and Z height will be available in a status bar. A size, a color and the shape of point can be edited in layer display settings. Regarding objects without classifier. Similarly, while activating corresponding modes, it's possible to digitize polyline and polygon objects. Let's draw the central part, the central line of the road. To confirm a completion of vectorization, press Enter key of a keyboard. To edit XY plane or Z height position of line vertex, please select it. It will be highlighted after it, and keeping Ctrl key of the keyboard, move it to a position needed. To insert a missed vertex into line or into polygon, initially with double click select a line until it's highlighted, and then please put the marker into position of extra vertex, for example here, and press Insert key of the keyboard. To eliminate a vertex, firstly select it and press Delete. In order to simplify stereovectorization procedure, you can assign a part of functions to mouse buttons directly. Please open menu series, mouse setup, select a line with Insert, Keying, and assign a right button of the mouse to it. In my case, right button of mouse, left button of mouse, and to others button of mouse is assigned to some of PHOTOMOD functions. Pay attention that driver active option is activated in this window. Apart from standard PC-compatible mice, PHOTOMOD enables to work with other special mouse-like devices. A full list of supported mice is available by click on System Monitor, Mouse Configuration. Then let's look through all functions of Vectors toolbar step by step. Creating polylines. As curves mode speaks for itself, But it should be noted that a smoothness of curves will be actual just in PHOTOMOD projects. After export to other format, a curve will disappear. This is mode of creation of CAD objects. This is mode of semi-automatic roofs creation. It enables to diminish time of roofs vectorization. Order of vertex digitizing is shown in corresponding picture. All the other vertices will be vectorized automatically. Let's draw a gable roof, for example. Two vertices along the basic of the roof and third vertex on the top of the roof. Orthogonal mode. Orthogonal mode of objects speaks for itself as well. It enables to create lines and polylines with 90-degree angles. Streamline mode. It enables to draw a polyline with a specified step in direction of XY plane movement of mouse. I don't press any key of the keyboard, but the vertices are drawn automatically. Streamline step is specified in system settings, menu service, settings, vectors. Streamline step in default is 10 meters. Snap to ground mode enables to put marker above the ground automatically if the program can calculate the height of point under the marker. I move my marker and points are drawn above the relief or above the roofs if these points lay above them. Besides, to put marker above the ground is possible by clicking space on the keyboard. I click space, and if correlation coefficient is not good, bad point report is appearing in the status bar of PHOTOMOD. Bad point report means that correlation coefficient is less than default correlation coefficient specified in PHOTOMOD parameters. This point was measured with correlation coefficient of about 98%. A correlation threshold, like I said before, is specified as system settings of PHOTOMOD. Service settings, correlator, correlation threshold. Default threshold is about 90%, 0.9. Please pay attention on snapping modes. Snapping is a behavior of the marker that provides its sticking to various parts of vector objects. Snapping enables to keep a topological consistency of vectors. There are several types of snapping. Snapping to points and snapping to lines. 3D snapping and 2D snapping. 3D snapping means a complete coincidence of xy plane coordinates and height of the marker with coordinates and height of vector objects. 2D snapping means a coincidence of xy plane coordinates only. Heights of marker can differ from heights of vector objects. For example, let's draw a roof of the building. We have already drawn a roof, so now let's snap a road to it while using 2D snapping mode. I activate 2D snapping to points mode. And as you see, marker automatically snapped to XY coordinates of the basis of this roof. When I finish to draw this part of the road, I deactivate snapping mode and continue to draw this part of the road. So, xy coordinates of this point is absolutely same with xy coordinates of this point. Then let's snap a grass plot to the road while using 3D snapping mode. 3D snapping to points mode is activated. And now my marker is automatically snapped to vertices of already creating objects. There is a possibility to assign attributes to standard vector objects. You can add a set of attributes either to each object separately. Let's do it, for example, for this part of the roof. Let's set attribute, I don't know, maybe height of the roof, and let's input some attribute value in 25, for example. But also you can add a set of attributes to all objects of vector layer at once by creating of obligatory layer attributes. Vectors, attributes, obligatory layer attributes. Type of objects. Height. Age. And any other name of attributes can be input in these obligatory attributes. So if now to select any objects from our vector layer and open its attributes, you can see that all of attributes name that we have specified now are in each object's attributes window. While stereo digitizing objects within stereo pair, I mean within the stereo pair border, the marker as a rule will be automatically jump to the best neighboring stereo pair. If no, you need to move the marker to non-stereo area of image and press combination of keys Ctrl J, combination of keyboard keys Ctrl J. The same function is performed by button from Change Stereo Pair toolbar. Automatically jump to the base stereo pair. Apart from standard vector objects creation, PHOTOMOD provides a creation of vectors with classifier. Vectors with classifier constitute vectors which are systematized in layers depending on their thematic content. Vectors create layer with classifier. And in classifier window it's possible to shape a classifier independently or to import ready one classifier into this window. At the beginning, let's try to create some layers independently. Please press button add layer and input its name. For the instance, vegetation. Okay. Then activate edit mode, select vegetation layer and press button add code. Code is a simple sequence of numbers, code name, for example, trees, type is p, point, L means lines, C means contours, means polygons, color will be green, and if necessary change size and style of line. Activate fill density for polygons if necessary. Okay. Then add the second code into vegetation layer. 002, code name is bushes, polygons, dark green. Okay. Select the top group of layers and add new layer. Man-made objects. Okay. If necessary, you may rename any of layers created. Similarly to vegetation, add new codes to man-made objects layer. 003 for roads, and 004 for buildings. To every created code, it's possible to add certain attributes. For example, we can add for code of roads, road lengths, and road class. If to specify integer type of attributes, it would be possible to shape a set of default values for the attribute selected. Let's primary road will be with value 1, country road with value 2. Okay. To vectorize an object with a certain code, this code should be selected in the classifier. Vectors are digitized in a way I talked about above. Now I will draw central line of road. Let's change its color. Now in attributes of this road we may select its class, for example, country or primary type of road. If to press I key of the keyboard after selecting of the line, you can see XY plane lengths of this object, as well as coordinates of each vertex of this polyline. I copy lengths of this line, Ctrl C, and paste it into the wrong lengths attribute column. Then let's select buildings code, activate mode of semi-automatic creation of roofs, and let's draw a gable roof. Number of objects created is written in corresponding column of the classifier, is recorded in corresponding column of the classifier. Let's save our classifier in PHOTOMOD resources. Besides the creation of new classifier, it's possible to use already prepared one. Please press button classifier to import and select file with RSC extension in some folder, map view 11 or folder with PHOTOMOD installed. As a rule, a classifier name indicates a classifier language and the scale of topographic maps for creation of which this classifier was developed. For example, map 2000s angle. So this classifier looks like this. Now let's close a vector layer without saving and load other preliminary prepared vector layer with the classifier. Let's open classifier window and look through its basic function. This is a tool of assigning of the code selected from the classifier to the object selected in a block scheme window. For example, I can assign fireproof unresident building type to this object. This is a tool of assigning of the code selected from the classifier to the objects which are copied to a layer but have not a code assignment yet. This is tools of unreferenced object selection and all objects with the current code selection. This is tools of searching for a code in accordance with its name or with its number, and these are tools of automatic assignment of attribute values to vector objects. For example, assignment of xyz coordinates, xy coordinates and z height to the vector objects. It would be especially useful for assignment of heights to contours built in PHOTOMOD. As you see, vectors with classifier can't be a content of traditional topographic maps. They need special symbols for point, linear and polygonal objects. Since for vector creation a classifier of panorama company is used, we can resolve an issue of visualization in a way as follows. Firstly, we should export vector layer to panorama format. Besides panorama, as you see, PHOTOMOD provides export to many other widespread GIS and CAD formats. Besides panorama, PHOTOMOD provides export to many other widespread GIS and CAD formats. Along with the standard PHOTOMOD, GIS Panorama Mini has been delivered free. One of its limits is an ability to work just with maps of certain scales, 2000 or 100,000 scale. After exporting of vectors, let's start GIS Panorama Mini. And open file that we created. Now it's represented in a standard symbols system. Briefly let's tell about abilities of topological and geometrical operations, which may be done with vector objects in PHOTOMOD. Sure, they deserve attention in a separate video tutorial, but we should tell about them briefly in this video tutorial as well. So firstly, in the vectors menu of PHOTOMOD, there is submenu geometry. Titles of many functions of this submenu speaks for themselves. In addition, here submenu topology takes place. its basic operations are duplicated in corresponding toolbar topology. Topological operations are functions of consistent management of vector objects by their merging, by their splitting, and mutual coordination. You can find more information about topological operations, about geometrical operations in the PHOTOMOD user guidance. Thus, today we have considered basic tools of marker management in a stereo mode, abilities of creation of standard vector layers and layers with a classifier, operations with them, including export to third-party geoinformation systems.